Awesome. Thanks for having me today. As was stated, I'm Kyle with True Adherence. Was on the stage a little over a month ago now for the e-comp, but came back to get some community feedback. So just to jump into what we do at True Adherence, we are hyper-personalizing fitness. It's a nice, fun, big word to start out, but the challenge with the fitness industry right now is you have all these programs, gyms, concepts, Pelotons of the world, that are aiming for one outcome. But there's a variety of body types and goals out there that people have. And so a one-size-fits-all mentality doesn't work in this industry. An example of this, as mentioned, Peloton. 70% of their customer base actually uses 1 to 2 additional fitness resources, such as a gym, at-home weights, in order to achieve their specific goals, because a bike and a treadmill don't help specifically with muscle building. You need resistance training for that. So that's where True Adherence comes in. We hyper-personalize through the use of depth-sensing cameras and biomechanics. So the way this works, we have these devices currently in 5 different locations. It's a touchscreen interface. You go up, you create your account. You get an initial assessment because we want to make sure that we're not telling you to do anything too crazy that could result in hurting you. So we measure you, and then we have you do a dynamic assessment to see what depth, movement ranges you can handle in your programming. With that data, we go on and give you guided exercises. We're building you routine, so it counts her reps. It's actually giving her a little bit of feedback there on that little square icon that pops up, and counts variables such as time under tension. We also will watch you during cardio, so that way we can actually see how you move, and if there's issues there while you're moving, we're going to be able to help you overcome that during your resistance training, mobility training days. So clearly, this is a platform. We can't just be a one piece of equipment. So where we aim to be is in the therapy offices, in your home, and also in your gym with these different products, such as what we call the stride coach while you're running, the weights and mobility trainer that watches you as that standing apparatus, and then also sports-specific training, because some goals are actually for performance on the field or on the court. And so we aim to be the complete biomechanics platform with hyper-personalized programs available where you work out, place to place, from therapy to home to gym to hotel. So fitness, great market to be in. Overall, it's a $106 billion market size. The training and equipment piece is $31 billion. And based on our estimates, where we fit in, it's about a $2 billion market opportunity for this type of technology. With secondary markets that we'll be going into, such as colleges and high schools, they have a nice budget for this. Physical therapy, as mentioned, and then the at-home fitness. Now, there is competition in this space. Obviously, we've already mentioned a few, but starting at the base, what really started all this was the Netflix of fitness-style companies. So you got Beachbody, Zwift, those types. And then some companies came in and added hardware to that. So you have Tonal, Peloton, Echelon, Reflect, Mirror. They just took the concept, added a proprietary piece, and now you're just watching videos on that. There are some biomechanics-focused companies out there where they're trying to watch how you move through EKGs and some cameras, but none of them are really leveraging AI to create a customized workout routine for you specifically. So True Adherence, we're the easy button for fitness is how we look at this. We are in our beta program, 4 locations here in the Utah area. This was launched in July 2020. One of those is a private gym. We are looking at 24 more locations on a waiting list. What we've learned in the beta is that we need some more lifts, we need additional assessments in there, and data dashboards. So really we need additional content. Right now we have about 12 lifts. We're going to expand that. So if any of you work out at these locations, the training room, Provo Rec, or Springville Rec, go ahead, give us a try, give us some feedback. Now, looking at the financial opportunity here, we look at it as active displays because we make money by, we have partners financing the displays, so our clients can pay a monthly payment, but they also pay us a monthly software license. So the more units we have active, our revenue obviously grows. So currently, our first target area are community gyms like those rec centers or gyms that have a focus on building up the sports and performance in the local area, such as the training room. From there, we'll go to lifestyle gyms like Equinox, which gets us close to, this is a hardware-enabled software play. So we look at ARR just like a typical SaaS business. We get to 1 million ARR with 80 active units. And then big box gyms such as your Vasa, they're kind of laggards, so they would be our longer term future growth initially. And that's when, after we hit that 1 million in ARR, we'll split into like the home verticals, physical therapy, when our product reaches their level. We are raising funding at this time. We closed on our first 100K, but we're aiming for 1 million because we still got a lot of development for the content, marketing, and commercialization to do over the next few months. And great team. My background, certified personal trainer, performance enhancement specialist. That's where a lot of this idea came from. My business partner just walked in, Chris Bright. He's the one that, in the visuals that you saw, created the product from ground up, helped get the hardware, has developed all the feedback features. Prior to this, he was working for Fortune 500 companies as a tech consultant, creating next-gen software. And we have a great team. This slide deck was created by Marissa. All of our branding and marketing is done by her. Jens helped source all of the hardware. That's why in a short period of time we have such a high-fidelity product. Ren Rice, he's one of our local advisors. He owns 20 gyms himself and does business with 200 more, so he's helping us get into the space. Mo Hagen's based out of Canada, runs a lot of fitness content for one of the premier gyms out of there in Canada, and so she's giving us advice as to how to expand after this. And our vision at True Adherence is that in the coming years, we're going to enable you to access your personalized fitness plan at the physical therapy office, at home, or at the gym, because we are going to revolutionize fitness. Thank you. So, I don't need the appendix.
So those 5 that you have right now, are those paying clients? And if so, what is the pricing looking like for that right now?
Yeah, so for the beta, we're charging, since all of the content isn't in there, we're still developing, we're charging them $100 a month. So much lower. The aim is to charge $500 a month, and then when it becomes a premium service in the gym, we're actually going to charge for access to it. So like an additional in-gym membership. And so that would be a revenue split between the gym and us. So it's a benefit to the gyms to include this.
So tell me a little bit more about your revenue model. Are you looking to capitalize mainly in the gyms? Or are you looking for a subscription model outside the gyms that someone can do an assessment and then take home to do, as you mentioned, in a hotel room or a home gym or something like that? Are they 2 different models, or are those 2 different verticals you're after? So yeah, tell me a little bit more about that.
So multiple verticals. We're starting in the gym space because they're willing to adopt earlier. They're willing to pay fees as we continue to develop the content and features that we know we need for the commercialized at-home use. So example, Peloton took 4 years. I mean, it's just a bike and a TV. It took them 4 years to get their initial product in the home. And that's crazy when you already have precedence. Mirror was the same. I mean, as I said, it's just a portrait mode TV, but the content, the UI, the user experience all had to be vetted before end users would buy it. Us going to gyms, the gyms are willing to foot the cost, and people in the gym are willing to like try it out and give feedback. And so we're actually generating incremental revenues before we get to the full-blown subscription model of the at-home. But what we want is for you to have your augmented digital trainer experience where you're actually getting personalized coaching rather than watching a video that's, hey, I'm a Peloton trainer, I tell you that you should be doing this to get this result. It's like, well, you may move differently than everybody else in the room. And we're helping you adjust for that and make sure you're still getting the results in a safe and effective way. So yes, eventually we're aiming for the at-home subscription type model.
So we have a couple questions online. The first one is, what is the process for maintenance on the machines?
Okay, I wish they were here. Is that like hardware or software? I mean, hardware, all of the components in there are high grade, like high-end components such as computer and camera that can last 5+ years. So the maintenance on the hardware isn't that intensive. The software, we are remotely updating it on a rather frequent basis. I mean, we're monitoring continually what's going on, so we just push out the updates and it automatically occurs. Hopefully that answers their question.
So we have another question on the hardware. So it says, you have a hardware and a software offering, so what are your margins on both sides? Do you give the hardware for free if they subscribe to the software?
So what we're actually doing on the hardware is we're working with a third party to finance it, so it acts as a monthly payment for our gym customers for this commercial grade level, and then we're paying a software. Our hybrid margin is about 70+%. That'll improve over time as we reduce the cost. But we're charging about $10,000 for the equipment. And by working with those third parties, we actually get the $10,000 up front, but the gyms pay a monthly fee on it over 2 to 3 years. So they don't have to take that big capital hit up front. It's more of an operational cost. So.
And then one more question online. What would the funds raised be used for?
It was in the slide. I don't know if this is still sharing. A lot of it's general and administrative. That's like our IP patent process, because there's a lot of stuff going in here. Marketing is going to various events for gyms. They're still trade show based, so we'll be doing a lot of in-person events over the next 2 years, and that's where the marketing goes. Sales, that's for building up a sales team, paying commissions, incentives, and then the development is getting all of the content and the additional features that we know we need to have the finished product done. So it's also building out dev team a little bit more. So hopefully that gets them.
Thank you.
All right, first of all, I love this. I think this is awesome because I love the gym, and I'm always trying to get bigger, and, you know, it gets tough. It gets to a point where I feel like I've plateaued, and, you know, I can never get bigger. But you said that you're trying to make this a personalized experience for every single person. How are you getting that much data? Because, like, you know, a lot of times for me to get bigger, in order for me to get bigger, I've been told that, hey, I should get a personal trainer that knows my body type and blah, 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 blah. So how does your machine have that much personality, I guess, per person?
Yeah, so this quick video I showed, I mean, it's getting her at 15 frames a second, 25 different points. We're using all of that movement to calculate time under tension, velocity, the factors that matter in actual muscle development. So one of the challenges is, like, for muscle growth, one of the variables that is important is that time under tension. How long are you actually doing this? And then progressive overload. So we act as a very meticulous workout log that most people don't have. Even as a certified personal trainer, I would have to sit there with a stopwatch trying to make sure I know how much time under tension you're doing, keeping that pacing, because one day you go to the gym and it's like, all right, I was bench pressing 200 for reps, I had good pace, but I had to drop down to 175 this time. What happened? What it could be is, yeah, maybe you were fatigued, maybe your nutrition was off, but this is watching you, and it could say, hey, even though you dropped weight because you weren't feeling it, your time under tension improved. So we're watching you with that camera in a way that captures so many data points that we're leveraging to build the personalized experience.
So how does this compare to, like, consumer app products like BarPath or Keto Lift, like those ones that try and do that same type of analysis using, like, your iPhone, as opposed to having some big piece of equipment,
Yeah.
you know, that you're working out at home?
So the big difference, I'm going to dip into the appendix here, because technology-wise, we've been watching the phones and what they're capable of doing, and we've tested them out a few times. Their problem is the number, essentially, I'll call it dots, that look at you. The reason we have this, it's buried in the appendix. Anyways, trying to give a visual here. I know it's here somewhere. There we go. So the difference here is that's over on the right is pin art, that stuff that you see in museums or you have as an office toy there. So we're doing that, and you can see that middle image there with thousands of points on your body. The problem with the iPad and iPhone is their dot size, when you get far enough away for it to get your full body while you're moving, is way off. That's why, like, BarPath just tries to focus on the bar, because it can try and hit that. But BarPath does not mean biomechanically correct. I can fake a very correct vertical bar path but still be throwing out areas of my body that I shouldn't. That could eventually lead to injury. And so by using this piece of hardware, and the at-home version, we're actually aiming for it to be a much more affordable piece of equipment that uses cloud computing. So this camera just adds greater efficacy and safety and reliability. It's clinical grade is what we're doing. The phones haven't passed clinical grade testing and verification for what they're able to do. So,
Do you see it coming there? Because, like, I don't know, I've got a good gym set up at my house, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I think I would rather track stuff like this on my, assuming that it can get to that place using a tripod and my camera, right? Because then everything's on my app on my phone, than buying something, separate to do that specific that, is eventually going to be outdated and stuff. Anyway, that's just kind of my feeling as I'm looking at like just the consumer thing. I can totally see where it makes sense for gyms because you want to have something in there that's stationary that you don't have to set up. But I'm just thinking of that other consumer market. And I can potentially get this for like, $5, right? So the price point's way cheaper.
I mean, you could do $5 for the initial version, but there would be a subscription if you want the like customized feedback and developing of your programming. I mean, the way we look at the tech is we're trying to augment personal training. We're trying to get those specific results. And that's the engine that people are paying for. I mean, you may be more sophisticated and say, hey, I'm not quite ready for that because I do just need to know my bar path because I'm safe enough. That's cool and not necessarily our product market fit initially. We're teaching people specific goals and performance metrics that they want to hit. So, and the at-home version won't cost like $10,000 like the gym version. We're aiming to get it down to $500, leverage cloud computing, have a decent at-home apparatus that you could even transport with you. So if you want to take it potentially to the gym, if you have power access, you could use it there too as a way to continue to have it go with you.
Okay, we have a few more online questions. So someone asked, what's your break-even point?
Break-even point. Basically, if we were to keep the team as it is, if we had 40 active units at full pay, that's break-even. So that's the simple answer.
Okay, and someone else asked, what's holding you back from branching outside of Utah?
The reason we actually stayed in Utah was because of COVID. We actually didn't want any units in Utah. Starting in March, we were actually going to be in Washington, California, Texas. COVID hit, and Utah was doing better on COVID. And so we just were opportunistic and placed all of our units here for the beginning of our beta just to get data going. We're working on external locations now. That's just it's a product of fundraising to be able to get everything in play and manage it. So.
Okay, awesome. And then someone also asked, is that the 1 ARR?
1 million in annual recurring revenue.
They asked, is that, someone said, so what's your break-even point? And then they asked, is that the 1 million ARR?
No, it's before that, so.
Yeah, I was wondering, so like if I'm coming into a gym, how do I see your product and know why I should use it?
Yeah, and we're working with the trainers, the gym owners, to do the in-gym advertising, to post it on their Instagrams, to draw you to it, and also to integrate with the trainers as a way to say, hey, welcome to the gym. Here's a service that we offer as part of your membership, eventually as a premium to help you achieve your goals. Because most people coming to a gym, especially around New Year's, stuff like that, are looking for ways to enhance their fitness. And the gym just shows this as a marketing tool. Hey, this is what you can use to help you reach those goals and keep you coming back to the gym. So it's integrated into the onboarding process and internal marketing of the gym locations.
Are you doing anything along the lines of retention to help gyms with retention?
That's the focus, and that's part of the beta right now. That's the biggest question to answer. Because if we can improve their retention by, say, 5%, we can increase, almost double their profits because they're fixed cost based. And so keeping members coming back, paying the revenue, they don't have to increase the amount of stuff they're offering or the number of staff. So all of that revenue just drops, aside from a few line items, straight to the bottom line.
Is part of that a mobile app, something they can bring home that reminds them, or?
Yeah, so that is a huge part of the feature. I mean, we sort of show an interface on the phone there that, yes, it would send you reminders, allow you to do reservations. It would remind you of what your upcoming workout is. So if you need to be like, hey, I'm not feeling like doing leg day today, okay, we'll modify it so it's not as rigorous, but we want you to continue to stay on your path to reach your goals. So yeah, lots of communication from us through a native app. awesome.
Okay, Kyle, we have one last question for you. What can the 1 Million Cup community do for you?
So we are looking for additional beta locations. So additional gyms, warm introductions always help. Just as we're refining the product, we need live feedback. So if you go to any of the gyms that I mentioned, just use it, send us your feedback, that's helpful. But also introductions are great at this point.
Awesome. Okay, let's give it up for Kyle, guys.
Thank you.